Got everyone tonight? Yeah, we're all here tonight. Anyway, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the regular meeting of August 28, 2018, City Council meeting. With that, I'd like to have the pledge allegiance, and if everyone would stand, and then please remain standing for the invocation. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like integrity, love of life was not a subject to be studied. It was a contagion to be caught. And if you catch it from someone, you can catch it from someone who had it. Let's pray. Most gracious Father, we thank you tonight for the opportunity to conduct the business of our community. We pray your blessings on this meeting and this community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ron. With that, could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember McDonald?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Candia?
Here.
Day?
Here.
Mayor Martina?
Here. K5 is declaration of conflict.
None.
There being none tonight. That no ceremonial matters tonight. And 7 is items from the public, non-agenda items. If anyone would like to speak to the council, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and we would be pleased to hear what you have to say.
Hello, I am Sophia Petrakis, and I'm here from the library over on 1305 Kern Street. Thank you for having me here tonight. As I had mentioned last month, we finished up summer reading, and I just wanted to do another thank you for everyone who donated to the Friends of the Library and to the library. I'd like to thank The Grill, Pizza Place, the JJ Liquor, Unique by Design, Newman Spa Nails, Subway, Newman Foods, and Joe's Landscaping and Concrete. We did a great job for summer reading. We had a lot of participants from all age groups, children, teens, and adults, and I'm very thrilled. And out of all the libraries in the counties, we were top 4. We were number 4. So for a small community, we did good.
That's great.
And even though summer's over, we are still being ambitious. We are having a lot of programs in September, including restarting story time after our month-long break. So I'm excited for that. I have a whole bunch of different themes picked out for the next 3 months. We're also going to be doing an edible penguin craft, a Harry Potter party. So for the Harry Potter party, we'll just have different games and activities for the kids and other family members, like parents, to come in and play. And we have an adult program again. We're going to make little succulent gardens. We're going to have some cactuses and cute little jars. And that one is sign up in advance due to limited supplies. And we're going to do another family craft on Saturday, September 29th. We're going to be testing out paper mache with the kids. And of course, our normal Lego days. Lego Derby is still a big hit, and we're doing that once a month. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say? Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor. I just wanted to say that we're really excited about you coming. And I know it's just a short period of time that you've been here, and I just want to thank you. People just talking about the library. My wife has spent quite a bit of time up there. She comes back home excited in terms of what you're doing. I just want to tell you thank you so much, because the kids are getting involved, families are getting involved, and that's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to, excuse me, I'm sorry. Does anyone else like to speak to the council? No one else? Okay, with that, we're going to move on to item 9. It's the public hearing, first reading and introduction of Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped right by the consent calendar. Okay. That's why we have a lawyer. She has to earn her money. God love her. Consent calendar. Waive all readings of ordinance and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of August 14th, 2018 meeting. D, adopt resolution of concurrence and acceptance of Stanislaus County CDBG fiscal year 2017-2018 consolidated annual performance evaluation review paper.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as read.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-2. Thank you. Now, we'll move on to 9, which is public hearing. This is first reading and introduction of ordinance number 2018, next number, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newman approving a second amendment to develop agreement number 08-02 Mattis Ranch.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take this one. So in September, or in 2008, excuse me, Planning Commission and ultimately City Council approved first a subdivision on Prince Road. It's 12.6 acres and it's being subdivided into 106 single-family lots. Along with that, the council held a public hearing and introduced the ordinance and approved the ordinance that would approve a Mattis Ranch development agreement. In June of 2015, you granted a 3-year extension to that development agreement. And part of it was due to the economic recession that hit right after that project was approved. But also that not only has the economic recession affected that project, FEMA, which is the flood control agency, has changed the flood control maps, and so they had to go back and do some redesign on the project, and they're going to have to elevate those lots a certain amount. So they've had some challenges with trying to get that all done. So the developer has come back and asked just for a 2-year extension of the development agreement, which would keep that project alive. Some of the important things about that is one, we're running out of lots, finished lots in the community. As you know, Sherman Ranch probably has less than probably 30 lots that do not have permits pooled. Other than that, there's really no final lots in town. So this would allow us to continue to have a new housing market until Northwest Quadrant comes along. And there'll probably still even be a gap in between there. And there's some small projects in between. With that being said, there's also one thing that staff would like, went to the developer and asked him for a change on, would be there's 2 supplemental fees in this project. There's a $3,000 community benefit fee per lot that to be collected. And the community benefit fee is a supplemental fee that allows the council to use towards whatever project they believe is necessary. It's kind of a buy-in to the community. And then the other one that currently have, there's a $2,000 aquatic center fee per lot, aquatic center fee on this project. It's our recommendation that fee be kept at $2,000, but instead of earmarking it towards the aquatic center at this time, that we earmark it towards the Veterans Memorial that you've been collecting on. And then that would speed up that project, because once if we got 106 lots and they started developing it, and we were assured of that money coming in, you would be probably pretty close to about $250,000, $275,000 towards development of a Veterans Memorial here, kind of catty corner from us on the main street there. And so if construction was initiated, we as staff would feel comfortable about moving forward with that project. So currently you have about $40,000 that you've collected so far towards that project. So with that, I can answer any questions that you have.
Michael, just a question on lot sizes. What would be the average lot size? Do you have any idea?
Because these were developed in 2008 when the pricing was really high, they're smaller lots. They're about 4,500 to 6,000 square foot lots. So they're a smaller lot development. And part of that is because your general plan requires a minimum density of 6 units to the acre.
Seems to be pretty attractive to a lot of people today, the smaller lot.
Yeah, the stuff that backs up the duct line that was built by SEM homes or smaller lots, kind of the medium density stuff that you're seeing here.
All single story or?
There's no product that's been proposed on this one, but generally on these smaller lots, you'd probably be more of a two-story. That allows them to get a little bit bigger house and still maintain their 40% lot coverage.
And the $2,000 is consistent with the other plots that we've approved recently.
It's a little bit more than the last one.
A little more than the last one.
Correct. The last one was 1,500.
When you talked about the elevation of these lots, is that due to possible flooding?
It is due. So there's a base elevation. It's about 8, and it's on sea level. It's 89 feet. And so they're going to go out and shoot it again pretty soon to see where it's at. So they may have to bring dirt in to raise the finished floor of the building above that 89-foot elevation. And that could be anywhere, at this point, they're saying anywhere from probably 6 inches, could be up to 14 inches. They just had a crop out there, and so they're kind of waiting for that to all be taken care of, and they're going to go back out and shoot it and get a final number on that. Mayor, this is a public hearing today, just a reminder.
Any other questions from council? With that, I'll open it up to the public for any comment. There being none, I'll bring it back to council for direction.
I'll move for the First Amendment, first reading and introduction of ordinance 2018, next number, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newman approving a second amendment to Development Agreement number 808-02 Mattis Ranch.
I'll second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you very much. 10 is regular business. Report on updated engineering and traffic survey.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. The California Vehicle Code sets a maximum speed limit for two-lane California roadways at 55. Any deviation from that speed has to be supported by an engineering and traffic survey. In April, we contracted with Katie Andersons and Associates to come to Newman and perform engineering and traffic surveys on 15 of our collector and arterial roadways. In July, they completed that work, and it indicated that 14 of those roadways should see a speed limit increase. The engineering and traffic survey is important for the police department because it is what allows us to do speed enforcement on these roadways. Without that, we cannot do speed enforcement because that will set the posted limit on that roadway. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have in regard to these surveys.
I appreciate the fact that you have to do these surveys, but this report is terrible. It doesn't take into account, it was done in June, doesn't take into account at all any of the schools and school routes.
The school zones still stay 25.
Not according to this report. Barrington would become a 30-mile-an-hour zone all the way through, according to the report.
Those school zones would still be there. The survey does say that it will be 30 on Barrington, but the signage will still say that it's 25 in that school zone for that section of the school area there.
T Street is not a school zone, yet 90% of our high school students and junior high school students travel that street. 30-mile-an-hour speed limit? I don't think so. I'm just really concerned that this report reflects increases in speed limits. The spot checks that were done were very high speeds by the people that were observed. Using that 85% rule, they're letting the speeders set our speed limits. I cannot accept this report as valid and will strenuously oppose it.
And I want to second that because I'm right in line with Councilman Day that the survey itself, it looks good, but I think it doesn't, favor the school district in terms of where the kids, and like he's saying, where the kids travel. And me too, I think I'm gonna step back on this too, simply because I don't think it was done, with the feeling of the school district.
In defense of our police department and our city, this report does not reflect the opinion of the police department. It is a report that they asked for because they have to. It doesn't reflect their recommendations. Is that correct, Chief?
That's correct.
Okay, so we're not shooting at our police department here because they shoot back.
These surveys were not done in the last 22 years. They're required to be done
appreciate that.
every 5 years.
I appreciate that too.
So there's a lot of catch-up that came up in there with the additional roadways, the additional building that's on the other side of these roadways,
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah.
That's where the engineer comes up with these numbers. It's all based on a lot of stuff. And he even put down the 5-mile-an-hour reduction that he can
Yeah.
through that.
Well, I appreciate the fact that I'm sure that this company followed the letter of whatever they're supposed to follow with DMV. But for our city, I don't think the recommendations in this report are appropriate.
Question, Lieutenant. The rationale as far as increasing the speed, I don't quite understand. I'm looking at Driscoll. I'm pretty familiar with Driscoll, and I can tell you that if you go from 25 to 35, and I come out on where I live, you're not going to see the cars. They'll be on you because the way that the road is designed is a real sharp curve. So I don't know if these things are taken into consideration. But there is no way, if somebody goes 35, I can guarantee that I'm going to get hit.
As it was explained to me, the way they do their survey and they take into account collision data, the amount of driveways that are on the roadway, as well as the roadway width. And Balsam has a sound wall down most of it, so it loses driveway approaches on half of that roadway. So that's where that speed determination comes in at 35, and also that 85th percentile. And this is written into the California Vehicle Code, and anything that, so if the engineering survey says that's 35, and we post it at 25, it now becomes a speed trap, and we cannot radar enforce that roadway.
Well, I know, but I will question, the thing of it is, when I come out of, where I come out of, it's on Duck Line, up from my house, if you're going 35, I guarantee you, first of all, I have to get beyond the crosswalk, because the thing of it is, you cannot see. I've been doing this for 14 years now. At 35 miles an hour, you're gonna have an accident. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Because I think what the tendency is with people, when you say it's 35, to them it's 45. So what I'm saying is they just kick in a little bit more. So what I'm saying is everybody's gonna be driving faster. I mean, it's like, it's bad enough if it says 25 and they're gonna be going 35, but if you say 35, they're gonna be going faster. It's just, we're encouraging them to go faster. I don't know.
We had Sherman is the same way, coming off Balsam, Eucalyptus, and Barrington, and even Northampton. Coming into those intersections, seeing, because of the way the power boxes are set, and because of the trees and so forth, you can't see far enough for traffic coming 40 miles an hour, the speed limit, if they're following it. We're going to have people running 50 miles an hour, and we're going to have somebody killed there too. And Barrington, we've got in front of our city park, we've got speed bumps. Those will have to come out. And, we're not attacking you, Lieutenant Short. Understand that. We're saying that this report needs
flawed.
another look.
It's
Well,
flawed.
the other issue is on Hills Ferry, bumping up the speed coming out from Driscoll, when you turn out to go down Hills Ferry, that bend, if people are speeding, it's up in that, what?
That's 40.
40?
40
Yeah, up
coming
in that
around the corner
40.
there, yes.
So now, they approach you, I mean, even now, when you come out and make that left-hand turn, they're
It can
on
be
you. Before
difficult at
you know-
35, yes.
Before you know it, they're on you. and I leave that way every morning for work, and you have to get on it, otherwise they're up right on you real fast. That was not as much my concern, but that's more of an engineering issue with that road in general. Mine is like Barrington and Eucalyptus. Like you said, the schools are still 25 miles an hour zones. That's
And they'll be
state law,
posted as
federal
such,
law.
yes.
However, kids walk up and down the school there, so now the speeds are increased on those streets with kids crossing and walking to school. And I don't know, I mean, there's a flood of people and a flood of foot traffic and all that kind of stuff. And that's what concerns me about upping the speeds on those. Some of these roads I can see, yeah, that the increase of speeds are notable, but some of them I don't agree with either.
And let me say this, is that I think in looking at this report, is that they put a lot of time into it. And just like you said, it's been a while since we've had the survey done in the city of Newman. But I'm hoping that the firm can go back and revise this and take another look at this in terms of looking at the concerns that come from the township point of view, and maybe take a second look in terms of submitting this to the council.
Okay, short, I'm not putting pressure on you, but I'm saying, what's the rationale for increasing the speed? What I'm saying is, why are we going in that direction? Why do they want traffic to go faster? I don't understand.
The firm just takes the numbers and compiles them with the engineering data of the roadway and the driveways, and they come up with the number. It's, if we could just pick what number we like, we could, but that's not how the law is written in the Uniform Traffic Code and so forth with the engineering and traffic surveys. They make it so that a registered civil engineer is doing these surveys and not just an individual who's doing it and just arbitrarily plugging a number in for this roadway. It's based on all this data, and then they compile that data. And they can do that 5 mile an hour round down, which you've seen on some of those, there were 33s, 34s, and they rounded them to 30.
I'd be more in favor of adding a patrol officer to each shift as opposed to changing the speed limits to Zoom time.
But the court looks at the survey, and that's the posted speed limit, that the court will recognize that we're doing radar enforcement as to that speed.
Yeah,
So
if
if
we raise
it's-
the speed limits, then we need to add officers.
We'll
You
continue
gotta
to
do
do, we'll
enforcement,
continue to do
but
the
you're gonna
traffic
have people-
enforcement.
you're
We
gonna have
just
people hurt.
won't allow the leeway that sometimes normally do.
Mayor, if I may, why don't, if the council so desired, if you'd like to table this item, the chief and I and the lieutenant can have a conversation with our traffic engineers about this, express to them the concerns we're hearing from you, and see if there's any other remedies that we can do, and see, get a little bit more information on this, and then with the
But I
possibility.
think the whole survey's flawed.
Yeah, with the possibility of bringing it back to you. So let us talk to the engineer. We can get a little bit more information from you, for you. We can share your concerns with the traffic engineer, and then we'll report back to you once we've been able to do all that.
I move that we table the report on the update of engineering and traffic surveys and have the staff of the police department and the survey company to see what can be done.
And I'll second that.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Officer Short, we're not after you. It's just, you're just the messenger. We're not gonna shoot the messenger. Okay, with that, we're gonna move on to 10, which is, we got that. 11, item from District 5, San Antonio County Supervisor, Mr. Jim D. Martinez.
Did you say you're getting married, Pete?
No, a friend of mine is there in the
Oh.
Sirius City Council, so I've been married for 27 years. Anyway, good evening, Mayor Martina, members of the council. I'm going to start off with the Biggest Loser contest, which was won by Newman this year. And Catherine's team beat out Gustine and Patterson, a couple of teams from Patterson, with just slightly over 12 pounds per person. Now, this year we had to do it per person because the teams were of different sizes. Some had 5, some 7, some 10. We made it easier to put a team together. You had to have at least 5 to a maximum of 10. So we had to divide the weight loss by 12. And that was with a penalty, too. They had a missing member and got, I think, a 9-pound or 18-pound penalty. And then still they won over the Patterson Pound Crushers were at 10.1 pound, and the Patterson Primadoras was 8.8 pounds lost per person. So 12 is pretty respectable pounds, especially when you add the penalty on. So great job. So it was, we're glad to see you won this year. That's one of the, I think losing weight's one of the hardest things there is to do. But, anyway, now that we've got that over with, our essay contest is underway. Get healthy one step at a time is our theme. I have already done the presentation already in Newman. I have Patterson coming up next week in Gustine. So anyway, so we'll be going on that. We're going to be judging the entries first week of November at Gustine City Hall. Also, our senior program, we're putting that together. That is September 27th at the Senior Center, Hammond Senior Center in Patterson. That will be a noon event, and we will have lunch also. It's a free event. And this is going to be not for health and fitness, but for senior abuse and financial abuse and that sort of thing. It's a little bit different than what we've done in the past, but there's still a need for that sort of program. So we're partnering with other groups and putting that on September 27th. And our next meeting of the Healthcare Task Force will be here in Newman at your old council chambers on September 20th. It's just 1 week before our other program. And so that's the task force been busy doing stuff, so it's we have actually a very nice event at the way out this year. And the county is still working on the airbase EIR, so they tell me it'll be done in September sometime. We're only like 2 or 3 years behind schedule, but we're just moving right along at what I call government speed. And so that should be out here pretty soon. And Councilman McDonald mentioned he getting married. It is I have to miss the wine and cheese this year because there's a wedding I'm going to in Ceres at Friday night, which is unusual for Friday night to have a wedding. There it is. But I will be here Saturday for the 4-H breakfast, and I'll have my antique truck on Sunday for the parade. So I'll be here for that. I just have to miss the wine and cheese this year. Realized that after I'd bought the tickets. Okay, that's all I have this evening. Unless you have any questions for me.
I know when we first talked about the airbase over there, I said I would hold my breath until we get some information. So after 2 months, I'll stop.
Well, don't hold your breath any longer there, but I'm hoping to live long enough to see that EIR report. Over there. It's been quite a long process. I think they've, it just everything's went wrong that could right from the very beginning. So. But I'm assured by the staff that they're working through, they have to answer every question brought up. And they are working through it, and they're almost done now.
Well, whenever it gets started, I think that it's going to not only have an impact to the west side, but I think it's going to be great for
Yeah, it would be a job center. That's what it is. No residential housing in it, no trains, just a job center. You know, we'll provide employment and opportunity for the people who live here. And that's really what our goal is. The county will put in a minimum of $20 million into the project out of our general fund, our reserves. We have a little over $200 million in reserves right now. So we've decided to put in $20 million and more if necessary to get the project started. Right. It is expensive that there's no electricity there, there's no water. We've got a really just beat up road into it. So by the time you put in the road and the power and we got to put in some type of sewer system, you know, you can burn up $20 million pretty fast. But we have to get the kind of backbone infrastructure in before anybody is going to want to move there.
I'm excited to see that thing get started.
Yep.
Get going.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Jim.
Thank you, Supervisor.
With that, we'll move on to item 12, items from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. It's a great privilege that, unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it tonight, but to announce that Alicia Mendoza, who's our community service officer, has been promoted to rec director / community liaison. She will attend and introduce herself at your next meeting. Right now, she's very busy. We got soccer starts a week from Saturday, so getting the uniforms out, and getting referees hired, and marking the field. There's a lot to do. So her plate's really full right now, but she'll be here at the next meeting to introduce herself. She'll be a great addition to the team. She's been with the city for over a year now in the community service officer position. The great thing is, again, she's a great gal, and she's going to do a wonderful job at the new position. Bad part was that she was really good at being a community service officer too. So, now we're going to have to fill that spot. So, but we'll work diligently. In fact, I know our staff has already been working on getting that advertisement out to start advertising for a community service officer. So we don't want to go too long without that. Things tend to pile up, build up when you do. So we'll work on that. I know Jim's talked a little bit about Crow's Landing, but our Northwest Newman project is tentatively scheduled to be at LAFCO in October. It took a little while. There was this gray area because of the election season, and you didn't want it. Were they going to vote for being part as a Newman resident, or going to be voted county resident? And there was a lot of stuff going on, so we just internally made the decision: why don't we just wait towards the latter half of the election, and things won't be finalized before the elections in terms of the organization, the full annexation. So they'll remain county residents and then they'll vote coming up in the 2020 election as Newman residents. A couple of things we got Fall Festival this weekend. You guys are set up for the parade. The electric gyms will be available to you at your starting location. We'll send out a text and just confirm it. Just anticipate you're going to meet the same place you met the last 2 years. I think you guys kind of started off, so it'll be generally there. And like I said, soccer starts this weekend or next weekend, and we are closed Monday to observe the Labor Day holiday. So with that, I can answer any questions that you may have.
So we're going to get the candy.
There's going to be candy at your vehicles.
With that, Chief Richardson, do you have anything for us today?
I do. Just to let everyone know that did participate in the K9 coloring contest. The winners have been announced, which was everybody. So there is prizes down at the police department for those who participated in the K9 coloring contest. So come pick them up. I know Chevron and the K9 Association went in together, and there's gift cards to the Chevron store. So a bunch of, I think there was 12 lucky winners for that. Like you said before, Fall Festival is upon us. We have street closures coming up, no parking signs going out. So we just encourage everybody to pay attention that a no parking sign might pop up in your area and move your car on the date that it says, so we don't have to move it for you. And then last thing is a little update on, we had a robbery about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. We are able to arrest 2 people on that crime. They were also arrested by the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department for 2 robberies in Crow's Landing and a brandishing of a firearm in Gustine. And what solved this case was our campus, actually, from our downtown and off of our fire department. So really useful tools that you guys invested in and that we put in the city. They were a great help in this case. So once we got a vehicle description, we were able to go back and put them in the area, and we found the vehicle and found them, and everything worked out really well. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Outstanding.
You've got a big project that looks like it's coming to an end.
It is. That's my first update. The road project is wrapping up. They're doing the striping now and working on the punch list items. And I expect that you'll see a notice of completion in the next couple meetings. We'll do another walkthrough on the project to make sure they provided everything they were supposed to. But it's wrapping up, and I think they did a really good job. I just want to congratulate my team on The Biggest Loser. We all worked really hard and really put a lot of effort into it. And so I've been on the Biggest Loser on various teams for about 6 years, and this is the first year we won, so I'm pretty happy. And I know it was my teammates too. The city will have a booth at the Fall Festival, and so stop by and see us. We're going to be doing demos of the water cycle and handing out some treats and trinkets for anybody that stops by. Public Works is in full Fall Festival preparation. They're detailing out the park and the gyms and working at the various locations. I think 6 in total that various events occur. And so hopefully everything will be all dialed in. I'll see you on the weekend. I'll be down there. And we're then moving right into soccer prep. And we get the fields ready and just help recreation however we can get ready for that. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Only question I have, Catherine, is when the project is completed, you'll be the one that signs off to make sure that everything is to your satisfaction? That
Yes.
you complete everything that was in the contract to do?
Yes. Yeah, I work closely with the project management team, and we deal with issues as they come up ongoing throughout the whole project, and then once it's done, so we handle issues as they come up to make decisions, to make sure we get a good product with by way of whether it be a change order or just giving direction at the time. And then once it's all complete, we walk it and drive it and just make sure that everything's done according to what the contract said. You're welcome.
Here, just real quickly, just to add on to that, I know most of you noticed the county came in and fixed that little patch from Hills Ferry up
Yeah.
to that extension. But what you probably may not have noticed is we fixed some of Jim's road out by the high school. So we remember Mary Ramos came in and complained about some of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we don't necessarily agree with that's ours, and we'll continue to do the research. But we went ahead and fixed some of that anyway. So.
Yeah, I appreciate
We did that for
Yeah.
Jim. We wanted Jim to get a little bit of kudos over there.
Yeah. I appreciate that, taking care of them, just not letting ratty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fire Chief, oh,
I have one quick question. Okay.
Sure.
So, once you do the walkthrough and everything's finalized, is there a guarantee on their work?
There is a 1-year warranty period, and so in about 11 months, maybe 10 months, we'll walk the project again, and any areas that are failing due to their work, we will have them come back in and they'll fix it. And the superintendent and Knife River Construction is very open to that, and we've had several conversations about it, that they'll come in and fix anything that fails due to their work.
First of all, I want to congratulate Catherine. I always knew she was a big loser. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we're preparing for Fall Festival. We'll be doing the annual fire truck ride, so come down and ride on the pretty red fire engine. And then we'll also be at the Bailey's Run in the morning, just kind of watching everyone as they run through. And then we'll be part of the parade on Sunday also. Other than that, we'll be looking at, I don't know if I already told you guys, but we have a tender coming from West Stanislaus, a new water tender, the big truck with all the water. That's due for completion the second week of September. So we'll be flying out, I think it's one of the Dakotas, we'll be flying out there to take a look at it. So that's coming too. I can answer any questions you guys might have.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fire season's over.
Well, it's never really over.
Fire season's not over. Anyway, Casey?
Just a busy weekend coming up. Everybody have fun and be responsible. And
Enjoy.
Thank you. All right, you have
I said I wasn't going to say this, but I think I'll just throw it out there. I've been down here 13 years. I learned to love the city I live in, born and raised in San Francisco. What I said to say this is that the community or the neighborhood that you live in, it's important that you get to know your neighbors and kind of lead by example. And there's one of my neighbors that has been leading by example. And I just want to let him know that I really appreciate him leading by example, and that's Mike Meyer. And he's a neighbor that I would just appreciate living around all the time. And I'm not trying to, make him flabbergasted or whatever, but he, I see him out there working with his son, doing some things in terms of.
You're going to get me in trouble with those child labor laws.
And I just want to say I really appreciate that, and that's the type of neighbors that I appreciate living around. That be examples for the rest of the community that we live in. And that's all.
Thank you very much. Nick?
Nothing tonight. I'm going to keep my head down. Too many shots going around here.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to, correct me if I'm wrong or right, we did have a spraying for mosquitoes last Sunday.
Yes.
I thought it went extremely well. I didn't hear any complaints from anyone. Apparently, they very professional the way they do their job.
I didn't even hear them come through. So I don't know what time
They
it
were
is.
supposed to be done. So that's good. I don't know. I haven't seen a big infestation of mosquitoes, but I'm sure they're always present. So, and with that, I just talk a little bit about this weekend. Everyone get out for the ball. All the different festivities that are going to go on, the parade, and wine and cheese and Friday night, and then fashion shows on Thursday. If you want to go to the fashion show, and all the activities on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday's a day of rest for everyone, and Tuesday go back to work. But anyway, this is a big thing for Newman, and I just hope that we can always find someone that's going to volunteer to step up and keep this going, because it's a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize putting this together. Anyone that's been involved in things like this, parades and everything, just the parade alone, just coordinating and everything, getting everyone ready for the parade, and lining things up, and of course, all the things, the activities going on in the park, that all the parade and everything. So I just commend all those people that are involved. I commend the police force, because they're going to have an interesting time. They always do, when it gets late at night, the beer bar gets going, so they're the ones that are out there protecting us. But anyway, I hope everyone has a great 4th of time and during the festivities, and remembers to drink to excess and just have a good time. And with that, I'd like to ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion been made and second. All in favor?
Aye.